Rabbi Ron Goldberg. I want to welcome everybody to our services here, our congregation HaYam this evening. Ron Freeman, your job when we get as far as our little, remind me of the word is questions. Questions. That is, remember, there are three things I wanted to talk about, none of which are written down, and I realized I was missing one of them, and it just came back to my mind. Questions. Shabbat was song, with wine, with Allah, but we'll begin with song. Hine matovu manayim, shevetachim gam yachad. Hine matovu manayim, shevetachim gam yachad. Hine matov, shevetachim gam yachad. Hine matov, shevetachim gam yachad. Neil, what is a nigun? Whoa, I wouldn't have gone there, but that does work indeed. So a nigun, I want to try to elevate that just a little bit though. Sabrina, have you ever mentioned the word nigun yet? Okay. Nigun is, as Neil said, it's a little ditty, but it's more like it's a melody that you use to get yourself focused and centered. So we're going to do one right now. We learned this in nursery school. Bim bam, bim 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 bam, bim 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 bam, cherry berry berry bim bam, bim 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 bam, bim 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 bam. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat 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 shalom. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat 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 shalom. We welcome in the angels of Shabbat by greeting them with song on page 13, Shalom Aleichem. Or as our Arabic-speaking cousins say, Alaikum Salam. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei HaMalachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei HaMalachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei HaMalachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzeitem L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei HaMalachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So let's break this down just a little bit. I'd like to do a little bit of teaching. Malachei HaMalachim, which would mean what? Malachei is plural for king, but it becomes plural because the next word is Malachim, which is in plural, so you have to have both of them matching up together. Sabrina, what are you coming up with? I can hear the wheels turning from here. Actually, the gears are grinding is what it sounds like from here. Good. Good. And Malachim are angels. So you're talking about the king of the angels, and who would that be? Not a trick question. Yeah, it's God. You're talking about the king of the angels, Malachei HaMalachim. The king of the angels is God. Because, of course, the next word is HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the next phrase. It's followed up with that. We've talked about angels a couple of times. We talk about our guardian angels coming just in time for Miriam to come in. This is so cool. Okay. A professional driver, if only we had one in the room here. Oh, Neil, there you are. What is the expression when it comes to angels and driving? We borrowed this from our non-Jewish cousins.
Never drive faster than your angels can fly.
Close enough. The way I learned it was never drive faster than your guardian angel can fly. Same idea, same difference as they say. So we have this imagery. Miriam, you got us, we had to talk about angels. When my grandson gets here, we'll talk about demons, but that's a whole other discussion. Okay. This idea that our guardian angels are always with us. But in Jewish theology, where is one place your guardian angel doesn't follow you? And I'm going to tell you, and in fact, I'm going to share with you, Ron, that Rabbi Kamrish wrote a paper about this when he was in rabbinic school that I borrowed and helped write a paper on it also. No, they didn't tell. We'll come back to that. Okay. The one place your angels don't follow you is into the bathroom. Why don't they follow you into the bathroom? And Ron, don't answer. I don't even want to hear. Close. Very close. Angels don't need to use the bathroom. We do in our humanity, and we don't want to embarrass our angels by them seeing us in this less than holy moment, so they don't accompany us into the bathroom. Rabbi Kamrish's paper on this was called Angels in the Outhouse. Why? We say a blessing when we go to the bathroom.
He loves that blessing.
You do?
He does.
He absolutely does. Why do we say a blessing when we use the bathroom? Okay, number one, Neil's correct. We try to bring. Let me elaborate on what you just said, though. Neil said we say a blessing on everything. Why? One, we're grateful. But number two, we're trying to elevate, bring some kedusha, some holiness into the moment. Why? Sabrina, help me out. Very close. Very close. What was that, Ron? Lynn? Was it intelligent? Yes, when you probably borrowed it from Lynn. Let's go with that. You're all correct. Let's mush all that together, though. The rabbis of times gone by, we call them Chazal, sages of blessed memory, were very, very keen observers of the world around them. And when they wrote, we commonly call it with a smile the potty prayer. They're very aware, and they say it right in the blessing, if things didn't work as they were supposed to, we couldn't exist. We are grateful for openings that open when they're supposed to open, and then close when they're supposed to close. They're very aware of that. If the body wasn't functioning as it could, we couldn't go before the Kaddish Baruch. So they're very aware of all these things. And we're very aware that our angels don't need these things. Angels don't have need of them, but we do. So it's the one place our guardian angel doesn't follow us is into the bathroom. But we're grateful for the workings of the marvelous. You said it. Our bodies working is a wondrous thing. It's a wondrous thing. All right, with that being said, turn to page 14, and our friend Phil is going to read the Shabbat prayer for us in the English.
Dear God, help us now to make this a new Shabbat. After noise, we seek quiet. After crowds of indifferent strangers, we seek to touch those we love. After concentration on work and responsibility, we seek freedom to meditate, to listen to our inward self. We open our eyes to the hidden beauties and the infinite possibilities in the world we are creating. We break open the gates of the reservoirs of goodness and kindness in ourselves and in others. We reach toward one holy, perfect moment of Shabbat.
Thank you. On page 15, let's sing together the first two lines. Page 15. Lechuna ranina, lechuna ranina, lechuna ranina, ladonai. Lechuna ranina, lechuna ranina, lechuna ranina, ladonai. Ria na ria, letzur yeshenu, kadma pana b'todah. Ria na ria, letzur yeshenu, bizmi wrote na ria lo. Lechuna ranina, lechuna ranina, lechuna ranina, ladonai. Lechuna ranina, lechuna ranina, lechuna ranina, ladonai. Let's read page 15 responsively, and I'm going to ask our friend Miriam to lead us in this one in the English. Uh-huh. Adonai is the foundation of all life, exalted beyond all that is worshipped. Let us worship Adonai, exalt our Creator, our God. We are the flock guided by God. Help is ours, even today, if only we would listen to the divine voice. 40 years of contending with that generation led me to say, they are wayward and care not for my ways. Thank you. Arbanim shana put the door, Vamer am toev lephem, Vehem lo yadu derachai, Asher nishbati be'afi, im yavon, im nufati. We turn to page 20, and we're going to sing together on page 20, Mizmor LeDavid. Mizmor LeDavid, Avu Ladonai b'nei Elim, Avu Ladonai, Kavod Ba'oz, Avu Ladonai, Kavod Shemo, Ishtachavu Ladonai b'Hadrat Kodesh. Kol Adonai Lamayim, El HaKavotirim, Adonai Almayim Rabim. Kol Adonai Ba'koah, Kol Adonai Behadar, Kol Adonai Shover Arazim, Meshaver Adonai et Arze Halvanon. Bayar Kidem Kimo Egel, Lebanon B'Sirion Kemo Ben Re'emin. Kol Adonai Hotzev Lavotesh. Kol Adonai Yachil Midbar. Yachil Adonai Midbar Kadesh. Kol Adonai Yechole Ayalot. Vayechasof Yarot Uvachilo Kulo Omer Kavod. Adonai lamavu Yahshav Vayeshev Adonai Melech Leolam. Adonai Oz Leamo Yitain. Adonai Yivarech et Amo Vashalom. You know, so many of our prayers create imagery. And on Kabbalat Shabbat, we had the imagery of the sun going down, and with Dodi, the holy men of Shabbat, the Kabbalists going out to greet the Shabbat bride in the dark, in the twilight and darkness. But not today. It's summertime. We're going to get back to what makes today special. It's still really light up, but we're going to do this today together. In any event, page 21, L'cha Dodi. L'cha Dodi likrad kala p'nei Shabbat nekabela Lecha Dodi Likrad Kala B'nei Shabbat Nekabela Shamor B'Zachor B'Dibur Echad Ishmi Anu Elhan Yuchad Adonai Echad Ushmo Echad L'Shem Ultiferet B'Li Ilah Lecha Dodi Likra Allah B'nei Shabbat Nekabela Likrat Shabbat Lechu B'Nilcha Ki Makor HaBracha Merosh Mikedem Nesucha Sof Maaseh B'Machshavas V'Ilah Lecha Dodi Likra Allah B'nei Shabbat Nekabela. We turn to page 22 and face the rear of the room. We do that because historically this is when the mourners would enter the room and would be greeted. Boyi v'shalom ateret b'Allah, kam b'simcha u'sohola, tochem unei am segula, boyi kala, lecha dodi likra kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. May be seated. We turn to page 23 and let's read responsively in the English, the song for Shabbat. It is good to acclaim Adonai, to sing your praises, exalted God. Your works, Adonai, make me glad. I sing with joy of your creation. The thoughtless cannot comprehend, the foolish cannot fathom this. Your enemies, Adonai, your enemies shall perish. All the wicked shall crumble. The righteous shall flourish like the palm tree. They shall grow tall like a cedar in Lebanon. Planted in the house of Adonai, they shall thrive in the courts of our God. Amen. We rise on page 28 for the Baruch Hu, the call to prayer. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Le'olam Va'ed. May be seated. Baruch atah Adonai L'melech Haolam. Asher b'Torah Mari Baravi. Bill, can you read the English for us, please? Praised are you, Adonai. On page 28.
Praise are you, Adonai, our God, who fills the universe with words, bringing the evening dusk, who opens with wisdom the gates of dawn, designs the day with wondrous skill. Set out the succession of seasons and arrange the stars in the sky according to your will. Adonai, Tiva'ot, who create day and night, rolleth light away from darkness and darkness away from light. Eternal God, your sovereignty shall forever embrace us. Praise are you, Adonai, for each evening's dusk.
Thank you. On page 29, we sing together the prayer before the Shema. Avat Olam Beit Yisrael, Akta, Torah Mitzvot, Chukim Mishpatim, Otanu Limadeta. Kein Adonai Eloheinu, B'Shofeinu V'Kumeinu, Nasi Hakbehu Kecha, V'Nismach V'Divrei Toratecha, U'V'Mitzvotecha, Le'olam Vayed. Kihem Chayenu V'Orech Yaminu, U'Vahem Negei Yaman V'Layla, V'Tzatzer Mimenu Le'olamim, Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Turn to page 30. We cover our eyes. You recite together. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha, v'chol levavcha, v'chol nafshecha, v'chol meodecha, v'hayu advarim ha'eleh, asher anochi metzavecha, HaYam alavavecha, v'shinantam levanecha, v'dibarta bam, v'shivtecha v'veitecha, v'lektecha v'aderech, v'shalchecha v'kumecha, v'shartam leota yadecha, v'hayilato tafot b'einenecha, v'lktavtam al mezuzot beitecha, v'sharecha. I need a volunteer to read, Lynn. Thank you. Thank you, Lynn. Thank you. We continue silently to page 31. On Tiskiru, Basitim Akol Mitzvotai, Baitem Kedoshim Leilchechem, Ani Adonai-Lechem, Asher Tzetiachem Eretz Mitzrayim, Leolachem Lelohim, Ani Adonai Lechem, Adonai Elohechem, Amen. Let's turn to page 32 and sing together in the middle of the page, page 32. Malchuto Baratzon Kiblu Alehem. Moshe Miriam Ubnei Yisrael, L'cha Anushir Simcha Rabbah, V'amru Kulam, Mi Chamocha Beilim Adonai, Mi Chamocha Nedar Bakodesh, Norati Lo Tosei Feleh, V'utacha Ruvanecha, V'kam Livni Moshe, Ze'eli Anu V'amru, Adonai Yimloch Le'olam Va'ed V'ne'emar Kipada Adonai Yaakov V'lo miyad chazanu Baruch atah Adonai Kol Yisrael. Page 33 we have, as you've heard me say over and over again, one of my favorite prayers, a prayer for peace and a good night's sleep. Sabrina, you want to read this one for us in English on page 33? Amen. Every now and then I like to point out something that's kind of fun in the Hebrew. So if you want to follow along in the middle of the paragraph, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. The fourth line, about the middle, it says, V'chaser sata milifanenu umeacharenu. V'chaser, to take out, to lift out. Like Judah will say to me, to take the trash out, so it's something to take something out or remove it. Satan. Wow. Got that in one. Nicely done, guys. Angels we weren't so sure about in the bathrooms, but Satan, we got that one. Nicely done, but exactly correct. Satan is the adversary. Though in Judaism, I have to say this, Satan is considered more the uh, the advocate, the prosecuting attorney maybe is better. The prosecuting attorney that when you're presented at the celestial court, he's the prosecutor. Okay? And Milifaneno from in front of us, behind us. So to remove Satan from before us and behind us. That's fascinating that we have this imagery of removing evil or temptation from before us and behind us. Sabrina.
I really Job is the time to I want to talk to God about, oh well your servant Job love you, but what's gonna be good.
Prosecuting attorney. That's him. So prosecuting attorney, the Yetzer Hara, the bad inclination, all of these things. But we also know, and it's a discussion we've had several times, we'll have it more times, we can't exist without the Yetzer Hara. We need the Yetzer Hara under supervision of the Yetzer Tov, or good inclination. If you didn't have your Yetzer Hara, it's a real easy example. Miriam, what's your favorite game? Could you play tennis and let the other person win all the time? Why? It's competitiveness, right? If there's no competition, it's not a game, it's not fun. That's the Yetzer Hara. Our Yetzer Hatov would say, let him win, it's fine, it's no big deal. Yetzer Hara is one that gives us competitiveness. Discussion for another day, but yes, Michael Jordan, very bad loser. Kobe Bryant, very bad loser. Okay? Not that they were bad losers, they could accept defeat, but they hated losing. Whole other discussion. We'll get to sports someday too. We know it's a big world. We'll get to a lot of it. Age 34, Chetzi Kaddish before Amidah. Yikadav, Yikadav, Shemei Rabah, Yamadi Brakutev, Yamlik Malkute, Bakaye, Chonu Vyome, Chon, Uchayedo, Kobeit Yisrael, Bagala, Bagala, Uvizman Kari, Bimaru, Yeheshme Rabba Babora, Violam Yomeo Maya, Yiparak, Ishtabak, Yipar, Vitraman, Yinase, Yitadar, Vitalev, Yitalal, Shemeda Kudisha, the Ela Mikover Kachabi Shirata, Tush Befata, the Nehemata, Damiram, Bioma, Mimaru. We rise for Salan Amidah, pages 35b through page 40. The text here are the prayers that come from our hearts. Yaseh Shalom Bimromav. Yaseh Shalom Aleinu. V'yalko Yisrael. V'imru. Imru. Amen. Yaseh Shalom. Yaseh Shalom. Shalom Aleinu. V'yalko Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom. Yaseh Shalom. Shalom Aleinu. V'yalko Yisrael. V'imru. Kadesh. Yikadav Yikadashami Rabbah. Yamal Dibrakir Tev Yamek Malchute. B'chayfon Yomechon Uchaydacho B'Yis Yisrael. V'agalav Yisman Kari V'imru. Amen. Yeheshmei Rabbah Mavorah. Yalom Yal Mel Maya. Yitbarach. Yitbarach Yishtabach Yipar V'Tramon Yitnaseh. Yitadar V'Talev V'Talal Shmei Kudishah. Elam in Kober Chata V'Shirata. Tushbachata V'Nechemata. Yamiran V'Yama V'Imru. Tichabel Salat Pon Ubaruch Pon V'Posho Kadabah V'Hum Dishmaya V'Imru. Amen. Yesh Lamarabban and Shemaya, V'Kamalinu V'Alko Yisrael V'Imru. Amen. Oseh Shem Ramah, V'Yaseh Shalom. Alinu V'Alko Yisrael, V'Cho Yoshvei Tevel V'Imru. Amen. Yidush. Page 49. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei pri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho v'avahu ratzah hinkilanu, v'zikaron l'maaseh v'reishit, v'huyam tefillah l'mikrei kodesh, zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim. Ivanu b'charta, v'tanu kidashta, mikol hamim, v'shabbat kodshecha, v'ahava u'ratzon, inkaltanu, baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh haShabbat. Thank you. So, a lot to cover. We're going to find out who our astronomers in the room are. We're going to find, that's well, for some reason, we're going to find out who our American history buffs are, and we're going to do a little Judaica stuff also. Let's work this backwards. From Fran's class, I got a note that there was a question that came up. Do the Jewish people like questions? That shouldn't have taken you that long. This was not a trick question. I would put out there, I think we like the questions a lot more than we like the answers. I think that we enjoy, I call it the cussing and discussing. In Talmudic logic, they call it shakla v'tara, the back and forth that goes on in discussion. And then they're going in circles sometimes too.
Yeah, we don't like the answer. That's why we give a question as an answer to a question. You ask a question, there's another question.
It's true. It's true. Questions lead to more questions. It's absolutely true. Yeah. You learn by asking questions. I got you, Sabrina. We learn by asking questions, absolutely. The question, here's the challenge with that, Neil, is that the question should be, and this is right from this week's Parsha of Korach, that the machloket, the debate, should be Laman Shamayim. It should be for the sake of heaven, not for the sake of one-upsmanship. Sabrina, save me. What's up? Very true. If you look at a Talmudic argument, it'll start off asking, what time do we recite the Shema in the evening? and all of a sudden you're talking about King David playing the harp in the middle of the night. You go, how did we get here? A lot of times, one of my friends in rabbinic school described Talmudic discussion as basically a couple of crack addicts on Adderall having a talk. You know, it jumps around that rapidly in topic matter. Neil, does Talmud typically come to an answer? Right. So let's combine that with what you were saying. Occasionally, you say 50 out of 3,000 is probably about right. You know, it comes up to the answer to the question is blue. But more typically, you'll see Rabbi Akiva thinks the answer is blue. Rabbi Shimon thinks that it's red. And the Chachamim, the sages, think that it's purple. We're okay with all that. We're very okay living in the gray. Judaism is very okay living in the gray. I was up at Eden Cemetery, and the director there is not Jewish, which is not uncommon in the industry. And she deals with a number of rabbis across the spectrum. And she gets, in her words, confounded in working with certain rabbis and their worldviews. That is just, it's hard for her. And she said to me, she'll say like, Rabbi, what would your answer to that question be? I said, you know, different rabbis have different answers. We consider all of them valid. My answers tend to lean more towards compassion for the family. Another rabbis, and this is the example Ron, you, and Lynn gave us a week or 2 weeks ago, some rabbis lean more towards the letter of the law. And I think the example that we're given in Kabbalah, when we look at the different, the Sfirot from the Kabbalah, the different entries, one of them is called Din, and one is called Rachmanut. Okay? Rechem. Although let's back up a step there. What is a Rechem? That's the root word, but a Rechem is a uterus, a womb. So who's the source of mercy? Mom. We'll come back to that. Okay. Mercy is balanced by din. Rahmanas has to be balanced by din. Din is judgment. So mercy without judgment is meaningless, and din without mercy is cruel. So we're very aware of the need for these balances and counterbalances all the time. So we love questions. We're good with questions. As it's been pointed out in different ways, questions lead to more questions and lead to fewer actual answers. And when they do lead to answers, very seldom is it an answer. You'll get multiple answers, and I'm going to say this again. We're pretty good. They're all considered valid, but I don't say we can pick and choose, but we find the one that resonates with us. And the challenge for us then is to be consistent. We'll another topic for another day. So, question came up. When we're doing the Shema, we cover our eyes. Why? All right, I'll give you one example. When I worked at the Jewish home, wonderful, lovely lady said to me, she was taught by her parents, you cover your eyes so you don't look into the eyes of God. All right. There are days I fail as a rabbi, and I fail in my generosity, because my mind went to immediately, it's Indiana Jones Judaism. Okay? That's, Marion, don't look. Okay? Didn't work for me. But then I realized she was totally serious, that she had been taught this by her mom, I think in particular, that this is modesty, that we don't look directly at God. Okay, nice. That's not the reason that I happen to follow myself. We cover our eyes. Some people do this. Have you guys seen somebody do this? Neil, I'm sure you've seen that example. People will take their talit and put it over their, and envelop themselves in the talit. Why? In both cases, the idea is so you can focus only on the words. The best answer, I think, for why do we cover our eyes with our hands or with our talit is so that we can create some sacred space a little bit of sacred isolation, and focus on the words. So if anybody asks, why do we cover our eyes? Would be my best answer. All right, let's see about the astronomers in the room. What is the summer solstice? I'll give you a hint. It's Sunday. Right? What were you saying, Brenda? Okay. So we have I like the geometry that you threw in there also, very nice. But solstice is the longest day of the year. It is right now. It is the worst day of the year for vampires. Easily. Okay? Winter solstice is the opposite for them. Shortest day of the year, December 21st. Yes. I was hoping for a Buffy the Vampire Slayer reference, but go ahead. Oh, I'm going to go with just before. Yeah, it's not a circle. It's a. Yeah. So that's this weekend. The Shabbat. If you're observing Shabbat in Seattle this weekend, it is a long day. Okay. If you're up in Nome, Alaska, it is a long Shabbat. I looked up, I was curious about that. If you're in the northern latitudes, this time of year, Shabbat, you're lighting candles are pushing 9 o'clock in the evening, and your Shabbat is going out about 10 o'clock. I said, what do they do on the really long days? And they say that's where they will tie themselves to when it's candle lighting in Jerusalem. They'll use that as the more reasonable example. All right, so that's astronomy. American history. What is significant about today? Anybody going to give me a good working definition of what Juneteenth is? Okay. Yes. What was yours? One more time. Oh, okay. Oh, longer. The Emancipation Proclamation is in 1862. Juneteenth is June of 1865. It's a long time later. When you have law, what's the most important thing about law? Oh, I'm going to hate myself in the morning for this, but Ron Freeman is right. I'm not going to repeat it. It's just it happened once, and we're not going to let it happen again. Right. Enforcing it. If you can't enforce it, the law has no effect. Let's hold that one for a second. Okay. So we have in 1862, after the Battle of Antietam, Lincoln does something he's wanted to do for a while. He emancipates the slaves. He issues the Emancipation Proclamation. One problem. The Confederacy is not buying it at all. And they've got hundreds of thousands of men under arms. They've got lots and lots of slaves, and they're saying, that's very nice. Next. Okay. So it doesn't as the North wins more and more slaves are freed because the North can enforce that law. They can enforce, as you said, the emancipation. The last state to have slaves is the great state of Texas. It was the most remote state from federal forces. Federal forces arrive, I think it's in Brownsville, Texas today on Juneteenth, and are now able to enforce the emancipation. And that's why the day is observed as Juneteenth. Is it a federal holiday now? I have in my mind that it is.
Yeah, no mail.
How would you know no mail came? Who gets mail anymore?
I do. I get bills. I get bills.
Get bills? Yeah, everybody else has gone paperless. So that's why I wanted to take a minute and mention that in American history. Juneteenth, the day that we finally put it into slavery in the United States. I think the actual states being readmitted to the Union finally ratified that the end of slavery on the books somewhere around 1867. But in terms of practicality, Juneteenth in 1865 is when we observed the end of slavery. I like to do the wow of the week. We'll do this real quickly. Wow of the week is WOW, wow of the week. So let's start with Brenda. What's the wow of the week?
I wake up every day.
Okay, amen. Amen. Having been at 2 funerals this week, I totally get that. Lynn? Did Ron upset you this week?
I was breathing,
Just- There we go. I knew I could help you. Ron? All right, amen. Would it be so? Neil? Okay. Sabrina? Very nice. Very nice. Glad to hear it. Miriam? That looks interesting. That looks really impressive. That looked really impressive. I agree. I agree. Bill?
See my great-grandsons in Argentinian attire for the Argentinian.
Oh, for the World Cup?
Yeah.
All right, go Messi. Go Argentina. Okay. My wow of the week. I'm grateful to see an end of bloodshed, though I'm concerned about the future. I'll just leave it at that. In terms of real wows, though, I think it's, much as I complain about the grandchildren, it is intriguing to see them, and I think to myself, there is the future. You know, what's the Dr. Seuss book, Oh, the Places You'll Go? Am I the only one who's read that one? Okay. I think of, what the things that they will see in the next 20, 30, 40 years, God willing, is mind-boggling to me. In my lifetime, I've gone from Star Trek and Maxwell Smart and his shoe phone to it being a reality, to Dick Tracy and his wristwatch phone being a reality. So amazing the wonders that our kids will see. Let's do announcements. Oh, wait, you know it? Ha. Upcoming services, tomorrow morning right here, 10 o'clock live and live stream, 10 o'clock right here. Services, Kiddush, following services are sponsored by Brenda Rich and Mark Rich in memory of Arnie Rich. Is your husband? Okay. Friday, July 3rd, Erev Shabbat services right here, live and live streamed. Saturday, July 4th, Shabbat services, 10 a.m. Be a study session about Jews in America. They'll be only on Zoom, honoring the 250th birthday of the United States. Friday, July 17th, Erev Shabbat services, live and live streamed right here. Saturday, July 18th, Shabbat services, 10 a.m., live and live streamed right here. And God willing, special Shabbat on July 18th, honoring our friend Alma for her special birthday. We're looking, Kinohora, we're looking forward to that. Musar classes with Fran, 7 p.m. on Thursdays, continue in July. My class doesn't have a date yet for July, but we'll get that out to you. The Significant Book Club, join Fran on June 25th, 7 p.m. on Zoom, as the book Baldolina by Gabby Nitzan will be discussed. Come and find out why this book's become a treasured secret for hundreds of thousands of readers. So, The Miracle of Amazon, check it out. Annual congregation meeting. Everybody should have received your ballots in the mail. I know I got mine. If, like me, you are from Chicago, what is the voting motto in Chicago? That is it. Got it in one, Neil. Also, Chicago, where the dead rise to vote, but we'll come back to that one later on. But again, our annual congregational meeting is going to be July 19th, 11 a.m. on Zoom. Fundraiser, order your gift cards via the website. There's a whole list, a rather in-depth list of possible events, possible gift cards. Special save the dates coming up, July 18th, the Kiddush for Alma, recognizing her special birthday. On August the 9th, we're going to do, it's interesting, we've always called it an installation. Rabbi Lisa took me to task on that. She said she should call it a consecration, and I think she's right. A consecration of the rabbi. Yeah. I don't argue with Lisa. Nope. She's the senior rabbi in the county. I don't argue with her. We remember the following yard sites this weekend. Harry Kaufman, father of Murray Kaufman, Zikron Libracha. Benjamin J. Weiner? Father of Myrna Weiner. Arnold Rich, husband of Brenda Rich and father of Mark. Richard Schneeberger, husband of Eileen Schneeberger. May their memories be for a blessing. Zikron Libracha. Anything else? Any other announcements? Lynn? Please. What was the name? All those who are mourning, all those observing the yard site, please join me in the mourner's Kaddish on page 52. Page 52. Yit Gadal, Yit Gadash, Shemei Rabbah, Yomah, Dibrach, Yerutev, Yom Lef Malchuteh, B'chayechon, Yigomechon, Yuchayit Achol Beit Yisrael, V'agalah, V'zman Kariv, V'imru, Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mavarach, V'olamnu Me'o Maya, Yitbarach, V'ishtabach, V'bar, V'tlaman, V'naseh, Yitadar, V'talev, V'talal, Shmei Kudishah, Ela Mikol Barchata, V'shirata, Tushbachata, V'nechemata, Namiran B'alma, V'imru, Yehei Shlomo Rabbah V'in Shemaya, V'chayim Aleinu V'al Yisrael, V'imru, Oseh Shalom B'ramav, V'yaseh Shalom, Aleinu V'al Yisrael, V'imru.
Amen.
We conclude with Adon Olam on page 54. Page 54. Adon Olam Asher Malam, V'terem Kol Yitzir Nivra, V'yein Asa V'chefsofu, Azai Melech Shemo Nivra, V'yacharei Kitlot HaKol, Levado Yimloch Norah, V'hu Haya, V'hu Hoveh, V'hu Yeh B'tivara, V'hu Echad, V'yein Sheni, L'ham Shilo, L'hachbira, V'li Reshit, V'li Tachlit, V'lo Ha'oz, V'hamizra, V'hu Eli, V'chai Goali, V'sor Pevli, V'yetzara, V'hu Nisi Umanosli, V'nakosi, V'yom Ekra, V'yado, Akirufi, V'tishan, V'yaira, V'imruchi, Giviati, Adonai Li, Shabbat Shalom, everybody.